My sister planned to take over my business while I was on maternity leave, so I transferred everything to my husband's name and quit without notice. Please take a moment to subscribe. It's a little thing that means a lot. And tell us in the comments where you're joining from. We'd love to connect. I found the folder on Tuesday morning, 8 months pregnant and desperate for Tums. My sister Keisha left her laptop open on my kitchen counter when she ran out to grab coffee. The folder was labeled, New Ownership Documents, TK Designs. My company. My 10-year-old graphic design business that I built from nothing. My hands shook as I clicked through the files. Articles of incorporation with Keisha listed as sole proprietor. Rebranded logo concepts replacing Taylor Kennedy Designs with just her initials. Email drafts to my biggest clients. Microsoft, Pepsi, 3 Atlanta recording studios. Introducing herself as the new permanent owner. Not temporary manager during my leave. Owner. Taking over businesses is easier when the founder is distracted. She'd written to someone named Miles Wallace. Taylor will be too overwhelmed with the baby to fight back. By the time she realizes what happened, clients will already know me as their contact. Possession is 9/10 of the law. I couldn't breathe. Keisha wasn't just my business manager. She was my sister. My best friend since childhood. The person I trusted with my entire professional life while I prepared to bring my daughter into this world. The apartment door clicked open. They were out of almond milk, so I got. Keisha froze, seeing me at her laptop. What is this? My voice came out steady cold. Her face cycled through expressions. Shock, guilt, then something calculated. Taylor, listen, I can explain. Explain how you're stealing my business while I'm on maternity leave? She closed the door slowly. Stealing is such an ugly word. That's when I knew. This wasn't a misunderstanding. This was war. Keisha's eyes instantly welled up. A trick she'd perfected since we were kids, getting out of trouble with Mama. Tay, you don't understand the pressure I've been under. I've been running everything for 6 months while you've been preparing for the baby. Running it doesn't make it yours, I said, saving screenshots to my phone. I pay you $65,000 a year plus bonuses. That's called employment, Keisha. She moved closer, hands outstretched like she was approaching a wild animal. You're hormonal right now. Pregnancy emotions make everything seem. Don't you dare. I stepped back, clutching my belly protectively. Don't you dare weaponize my pregnancy against me. I saw the emails. This has been planned for months. Her tears dried up fast. Fine. You want honesty? You've been checked out, Taylor. Every client meeting you're yawning. Every deadline you're complaining about swollen feet. I've been covering for you, making excuses, doing your work while you nest. The venom in her voice was shocking. This wasn't my sister. Or maybe this was always who she was and I'd been too blind to see it. I'm growing a human being, I said quietly. I'm sorry my exhaustion inconvenienced your hostile takeover. It's not hostile if someone needs to step up, she shouted. The business was dying under your distraction. I saved it. I earned this. My phone buzzed. My husband Damon, on my way home, baby. Need anything? I looked at Keisha, really looked at her. The sister who'd braided my hair before prom. Who held me when my first boyfriend cheated. Who I'd trusted with everything. Get out of my house, I whispered. Taylor. Get out. She grabbed her laptop and at the door she turned back. You'll regret this. You need me. Wrong. She needed me. And she was about to learn that lesson the hard way. Damon found me at the kitchen table surrounded by printed documents at midnight. Baby, what's all this? I'd spent 6 hours compiling evidence. Bank statements showing Keisha had opened a business account in TK Design's name but with only her signature. Screenshots of her pitching my clients with Transition plans. Text messages to Mama saying, Taylor's too focused on the baby. Time for new leadership. My sister tried to steal my business. The words felt surreal. While I'm pregnant. Damon's jaw clenched. He'd never liked Keisha. Said she was too comfortable spending my money, too quick to take credit for my ideas. I'd defended her every time. Family, I'd said. Blood matters. What do you need from me? His voice was controlled fury. I need to move fast. She thinks I'm too pregnant and emotional to fight back. I showed him the email to Miles Wallace. She's counting on me being overwhelmed. Damon studied the documents, his software engineer brain processing the angles. She doesn't have any actual ownership papers, right? No contracts giving her equity. Nothing. She's an employee. But she has access to everything. Client list, passwords, contracts, my signature stamp. The reality hit me. She could do serious damage before I stop her. Then we stop her first, Damon said. Tonight. He called his cousin Rochelle, a business attorney in Buckhead. At 1 a.m. she was on Zoom walking us through options. This is fraud, possibly identity theft, Rochelle said, reading through the documents. But proving it in court takes time. What you need is immediate protection. What do you suggest? I asked. Rochelle smiled grimly. How attached are you to the company name? By dawn we had a plan. A scorched earth plan that would leave Keisha with nothing but the betrayal she'd planted. My company was worth approximately $1.2 million. 10 years of 16-hour days, rejected pitches and slow-built reputation. By Wednesday afternoon it would be worth exactly zero to Keisha. Rochelle worked fast. Transfer all intellectual property to a new LLC, Kennedy Creative Solutions, she instructed. Your husband will be listed as primary owner temporarily. It protects assets if she tries to sue you personally. Will this hold up legally? Damon asked, signing the paperwork Rochelle couriered over at 3 a.m. She's not an owner or partner. She's an employee who committed provable fraud. Any judge will see through her claims. Rochelle looked at me seriously. But Taylor, this will destroy your relationship with your sister. Possibly your whole family. Are you sure? I thought about Keisha's cold eyes when the tears dried up. You've been checked out, she'd said. Like my pregnancy was an inconvenience. Like creating life was less important than client meetings. I'm sure, I said. We worked until sunrise. Every contract got rewritten with Kennedy Creative Solutions as the entity. Every client received a professional email from me, 8 months pregnant, still working, still in control, explaining a corporate restructuring and introducing them to the new company name. Same services, same quality, new legal protection. What about the bank accounts? Damon asked. Freeze TK Designs accounts immediately, Rochelle instructed. Transfer all funds to the new business. She can't steal what doesn't exist. By 7 a.m., when Keisha usually arrived at my home office, everything had changed. The TK Designs bank account held $347, enough to keep it technically active. The remaining $284,000 sat safely in Kennedy Creative Solutions account. My phone rang. Mama. Taylor Renee Kennedy, what is this email from Keisha about you firing her? Oh, Keisha was already playing victim. Perfect. Mama, I need to tell you something about your daughter. The conversation was about to get ugly. Keisha says you're having some kind of breakdown. Mama's voice crackled through the phone. Hormones and paranoia, accusing her of stealing when she's been holding everything together. I'd expected this. Keisha had always been Mama's favorite. The pretty one, the charming one. I was the responsible one, the one who didn't need attention. Mama, did she mention the documents I found? The ones where she planned to take ownership of my company. She said those were contingency plans. In case something happened to you during childbirth. Mama sounded genuinely convinced. Taylor, Black women have higher maternal mortality rates. She was being prepared. The manipulation was masterful. Turn attempted theft into concerned planning. So she opened bank accounts in my company's name with only her signature as a contingency? Kept my voice level. She pitched my clients on permanent transition plans as a contingency? Silence. Then, maybe you're misunderstanding her intentions. I'm sending you the files right now, Mama. Read them yourself. Then call me back. I hung up before she could argue. Damon squeezed my hand. Your mom will see the truth. Maybe. I wasn't convinced. Keisha had a lifetime of practice wrapping Mama around her finger. My phone exploded with texts. Keisha's friends, our cousins, even our aunt from Memphis. All with the same message. Can't believe you're treating Keisha this way. She's been working so hard for you. Pregnancy hormones making you cruel. The narrative was set. I was the unstable pregnant woman. Keisha was the devoted sister wrongly accused. Then my client Derek Morrison from Apex Records called. Taylor, got your email about the restructuring. Also got a weird call from someone claiming to be your business partner? Named Keisha. My blood went cold. What did she say? That you're having health complications, that she's taking over communications. Derek paused. But here's the thing, I always worked with you directly. Never met this Keisha. Felt off, so I wanted to confirm with you. Keisha was already making moves. Derek, I'm 8 months pregnant and perfectly healthy. That woman is my former employee who I just terminated for fraud. If she contacts you again, please document it. Jesus. Tara, I'm sorry. Want me to spread the word to the other clients? Please. One call. One loyal client. That's all it took for the truth to start spreading faster than Keisha's lies. Keisha showed up at my house Thursday morning with Mama, Uncle James, and my cousin Tasha. A whole intervention squad. I was ready. Taylor, baby, this has gone too far. Mama started, settling onto my couch like this was a mediation. Family doesn't treat family this way. You're right, I said calmly. Which is why what Keisha did is so unforgivable. I handed each of them a folder. Inside, printed emails, bank statements, the incorporation documents with my forged signature. Yes, forged, Rochelle had confirmed, and timestamps showing Keisha had been planning this since February. 4 months before my due date. These are fake, Keisha said immediately. She doctored these to justify her paranoia. Then explain this. I pulled up my laptop. This is a video timestamp from my security camera. February 18th, 10:47 p.m. What are you doing at my office, Keisha? On screen, Keisha sat at my desk scanning documents. My signature stamp in her hand. The same stamp she used on those incorporation papers. The room went silent. Uncle James spoke first. Keisha Marie, what the hell? I was organizing. Keisha's voice pitched high. Taylor asked me to file documents. At 11 p.m.? With my signature stamp. I advanced the video. Here's you scanning my signature onto blank incorporation papers. Here's you on your phone. I pulled up phone records Rochelle had subpoenaed. Calling Miles Wallace, discussing acquisition strategies. Mama's face crumbled. Keisha, baby, please tell me this isn't what it looks like. It's not what you think. Keisha was crying now, real tears this time, panic tears. Taylor was going to lose everything. The clients were worried about continuity. I was securing the business for both of us. By putting only your name on everything? Tasha asked quietly. She'd always been the smart one. Girl, that's not securing. That's stealing. I built this too. Keisha exploded. 6 years I've worked for her. 6 years of her getting all the credit while I did the grunt work. I deserved a piece. And there was the real Keisha finally exposed. You want to talk about what you deserved? My voice was ice. Let's talk numbers. I paid you $65,000 annually, above market rate for your position. Christmas bonuses averaging $8,000. I paid your rent for 4 months when you lost your apartment in 2021. That's $6,400. I gave you my old MacBook Pro worth $2,000. Covered your health insurance, family plan, when you wanted mama added. That's another $4,800 yearly. I pulled up my accounting spreadsheet, 6 years of generosity itemized. Total investment in you, $437,200. And that's not counting the training, the client connections, the opportunities one created for you. Keisha's face twisted. So you kept a receipt? That's what family does. Keeps score. No, family doesn't keep score. But I'm a business owner and business owners keep records. I looked at Mama. She wasn't stealing from a corporation. She was stealing from me. From my daughter. From the legacy I'm building for my child. That landed. Mama looked at my belly, then at Keisha with something I'd never seen before. Disappointment. Keisha, did you really think this was okay? Mama's voice shook. I thought she'd understand. Keisha was sobbing. I thought once the baby came she'd realize she needed me and we'd be partners. Partners negotiate, Uncle James said. They don't forge signatures and steal. Damon, who'd been silent in the corner, finally spoke. You didn't just try to steal a business. You exploited your sister's pregnancy, one of the most vulnerable times in a woman's life, for personal gain. That's not ambition. That's predatory. Keisha rounded on him. You turned her against me. She was fine until you poisoned her mind. I found the documents myself, I said flatly. Damon didn't even know until after. You want to blame someone? Blame yourself. Tasha stood up. Mama, Uncle James, we should go. This isn't a family matter anymore. This is legal. Legal. Keisha's eyes widened. Taylor, you're not seriously pressing charges? I hadn't decided yet. But her assumption that I wouldn't, that family loyalty would protect her even after this, sparked something dark in me. You're right, I said slowly. I'm not pressing charges. Relief flooded her face. I'm suing you instead. Civil court. For fraud, breach of contract, and emotional distress. See you in front of a judge, sis. The relief died instantly. The lawsuit hit Keisha like a freight train. Rochelle filed it Friday morning. $500,000 in damages, requesting full restitution of lost business opportunities, legal fees and punitive damages for the emotional distress of being betrayed while pregnant. You can't afford this, Keisha hissed over a voicemail. You're about to have a baby. Legal fees will destroy you. Drop it and we can work something out. She still thought I'd fold. That pregnancy would make me soft, desperate for peace. She didn't know I'd already secured funding from Damon's family. His parents, horrified by the betrayal, offered to cover all legal costs. This is about principle, Damon's mother Sharon told me over Sunday dinner. You don't let people walk over you, baby or not. We got you. But the lawsuit was just the opening move. The real damage came when my clients started sharing stories. Keisha called me 3 times last week. Jade from Premier Marketing told me during a check-in call, saying you were having complications, that I should contract directly with her for upcoming projects. When I asked for documentation, she got defensive. She emailed me a new contract, added Nolan from Rhythm Records. Removing your name entirely, pricing 20% lower than your rates. Said it was a sympathy rate, because of your situation. My situation. Like pregnancy was a tragedy instead of a miracle. Each client's story added another piece to the puzzle. Keisha had been systematically undermining me for months, planting seeds of doubt about my reliability, my capacity, my commitment. All while smiling in my face, braiding my hair, rubbing my swollen feet. How did I miss this? I asked Damon one night, crying from exhaustion and betrayal. Because you trusted your sister, he said gently. That's not a weakness, Taylor. That's being human. But it felt like a weakness. It felt like stupidity. The deposition was scheduled for 2 weeks out. Rochelle warned me it would get ugly. She'll attack your character, your business practices, try to make herself look like a victim of exploitation. Let her try, I said. I've got receipts for everything. There's something else, Rochelle added carefully. Your mother called my office. She wants to testify. My heart stopped. For who? She didn't say. But Taylor, prepare yourself for the possibility that she sides with Keisha. The thought of Mama on a witness stand defending Keisha's theft almost broke me. The preliminary hearing happened in a bland conference room downtown. All beige walls and fluorescent lighting. Keisha arrived with a lawyer she clearly couldn't afford. Some slick brother in a designer suit who probably charged $400 an hour. Miss Kennedy, he started, voice smooth as butter. My client maintains this was a misunderstanding between sisters, blown out of proportion by evidence. Rochelle interrupted. Security footage, forged documents, recorded phone calls? That kind of proportion. His jaw tightened. My client was acting in what she believed to be the company's best interest. By stealing it? I couldn't help myself. That's an interesting interpretation of best interest. The mediator, a tired-looking woman named Mrs. Brennan, held up her hand. Let's keep this professional. I've reviewed the preliminary evidence. Miss Keisha Kennedy, the documentation is fairly damning. Do you dispute any of these documents' authenticity? Keisha looked at her lawyer, who nodded slightly. Some of them are taken out of context. My sister was overwhelmed with pregnancy. I was trying to ensure business continuity. By opening bank accounts with forged signatures? Mrs. Brennan's eyebrow raised. That's not continuity planning. That's fraud. My client was acting on verbal authorization from Ms. Kennedy, the lawyer tried. Then why didn't I know about any of it? I asked. Why were all these plans made behind my back? The door opened. Mama walked in, dressed in her church clothes, the navy suit she wore for important occasions. My stomach dropped. Mrs. Patricia Kennedy? Mrs. Brennan checked her notes. You're listed as a potential witness? Yes, ma'am. Mama's voice was steady. She looked at Keisha, then at me. I have something to say that both my daughters need to hear. Keisha smiled slightly, confident. She thought Mama was here to save her. I raised 2 strong black women, Mama began. Taught them both to work hard, be loyal, support family. She paused. But I also taught them right from wrong. And what Keisha did was wrong. Keisha's smile vanished. Dead wrong, Mama continued, voice strengthening. I've spent the last week praying, talking to Pastor Williams, reviewing all these papers Taylor sent me. And the truth is clear as day. She looked at Keisha with tears streaming. Baby, you tried to steal from your pregnant sister. Ain't no context that makes that right. The room was silent except for Keisha's sharp intake of breath. Mama, how can you side with her? Keisha's voice cracked. After everything I told you? How she's been treating me? What you told me was lies, Mama said firmly. Taylor's shown me the bank statements. You were taking money. What? I interrupted. This was news. What money? Rochelle immediately opened her laptop. Mrs. Kennedy, what are you referring to? Mama pulled out her own folder. She'd done homework. Business expenses charged to company cards. Over $23,000 in 6 months. Designer bags, trips to Miami, that new car down payment. My hands went numb. I'd trusted Keisha with the company card for legitimate expenses. Clients' dinners, software subscriptions, office supplies. That's my salary compensation. Keisha protested. Taylor underpaid me for years. You made $65,000 plus bonuses, I said slowly. That's $15,000 above market rate for a business manager in Atlanta. I have the industry reports. For the work I did. That was nothing. Keisha stood up, her lawyer trying to pull her back down. You made millions off my labor. The company grossed $340,000 last year, Rochelle corrected, reading from her laptop. After expenses and taxes, net profit was $127,000. Taylor paid herself $72,000 in salary, barely more than she paid you, and reinvested the rest. The math was devastating. Keisha had thought I was hoarding wealth while exploiting her. The reality was I was building slowly, carefully, paying her generously for modest profits. You don't understand how it felt, Keisha said, tears flowing. Watching you get all the praise, all the recognition. I did half the work. You did project management and client communication, I said, my voice breaking. I did the actual design work. The creative strategy. The pitches that won clients. The 2 a.m. deadline crunches. You worked 9 to 5. I worked 16-hour days. Because you're a perfectionist control freak. Because it's my business. I exploded, standing up despite my aching back. I risk. My reputation. My decade of building relationships. You wanted ownership? Negotiate. Don't steal it while I'm pregnant and vulnerable. The room fell silent. Even Keisha's expensive lawyer looked uncomfortable. Mrs. Brennan spoke carefully. I think we have sufficient grounds to proceed to formal litigation. Ms. Keisha Kennedy, I strongly suggest you settle this case. The evidence is overwhelming. Keisha's lawyer whispered urgently in her ear. She shook her head stubbornly. No. I deserve half that business. I'll see her in court. Rochelle smiled, sharp and dangerous. Perfect. Discovery is going to be very interesting. As everyone filed out, Mama hugged me tight. I'm sorry, baby. I should have seen it sooner. You see it now, I whispered. That's what matters. But as I watched Keisha leave, shoulders squared, defiant even in defeat, I knew this was far from over. Keisha's deposition happened 3 weeks later. I was 37 weeks pregnant, uncomfortable and exhausted, but Rochelle insisted I attend. She needs to see you, she said. Needs to face what she did. We gathered in Rochelle's conference room, Keisha's lawyer looking significantly less confident than before. Discovery had not been kind to their case. Let's start with the company credit card charges, Rochelle began, sliding a packet across the table. March 15th, $3,400 at Gucci. Business expense. Keisha shifted. Client meeting outfit. Really? Your LinkedIn photos show you wearing this outfit at a birthday party in Savannah the next weekend. No clients present. Her lawyer intervened. My client may have misremembered the specific context. April 2nd, $2,200 at the Beverly Hills Hotel. Los Angeles trip. Can you tell me which client you met there? Silence. Keisha's jaw clenched. Because I have your Instagram stories from that trip, Rochelle continued, pulling them up on her laptop. Poolside. Spa day. Dinner at Nobu. Caption reads, Sometimes you gotta treat yourself. No clients mentioned. I was networking. With who? Give me names. Company names. Any business that resulted from this networking trip. More silence. Each question landed like a hammer blow. The spa treatments, the designer bags, the weekend getaways. All charged to my company, all personal, all fraud. Let's talk about Miles Wallace. Rochelle shifted gears. You've been in contact with him since February. He's a business broker specializing in hostile acquisitions. Why? I wanted advice on business structure. Did this advice include strategies to marginalize my client? Because we've subpoenaed your phone records and emails. Mr. Wallace wrote, and I quote, "The key is making yourself indispensable while making her look incompetent. Plant doubt with clients about her capacity." Keisha's face drained of color. You responded, "Already doing that. Told 3 clients she's having pregnancy complications. They're worried." Rochelle looked up. Except Taylor had no complications. You lied to clients to sabotage her reputation. That's taken out of context. Really? What context makes lying about your pregnant sister's health acceptable? Keisha's lawyer called for a break. During the recess, I watched Keisha through the glass wall, pacing, phone pressed to her ear. She looked desperate. When we reconvened, her lawyer made an offer. My client is willing to settle for $50,000 and a non-disparagement agreement. I almost laughed. You stole from me, lied about me, tried to destroy my business, and you want $50,000? We could countersue for wrongful termination. On what grounds? Rochelle asked. At-will employment in Georgia. Taylor can terminate anyone for any legal reason. Fraud is definitely legal grounds. We left them with a counteroffer. Return all fraudulent charges, public apology, permanent restraining order from the business and clients. Or go to trial where discovery would reveal everything. Keisha chose trial. Pride over sense as always. The trial started 2 weeks after I gave birth to my daughter, Zora. I was exhausted, hormonal, leaking breast milk through courtroom-appropriate blouses. But I was there. Rochelle argued I should rest, but I needed to see this through. The plaintiff will call Taylor Kennedy, Rochelle announced. I took the stand, Zora with Damon in the gallery. Rochelle walked me through everything. Building the business from scratch, hiring Keisha in 2019, the trust one placed in her, the discovery of her betrayal. How did it feel finding those documents while 8 months pregnant? Rochelle asked. Like the ground disappeared, I said honestly. I was about to bring a baby into the world. I was vulnerable, scared, excited. And the person I trusted most was plotting to take everything I'd built. Keisha's lawyer, during cross-examination, tried to paint me as a tyrannical boss. Isn't it true you were frequently absent from the office during your pregnancy? I worked from home to avoid exposure during COVID's lingering effects and due to doctors' orders to reduce stress. But I maintained all client relationships and completed all projects on time. Didn't you rely heavily on my client's work? I relied on her to do her job, project management and client communication. That's what I paid her for. But design work, strategy, pitches? That was always me. Then Rochelle called character witnesses. Derek Morrison from Apex Records testified about Keisha's lies regarding my health. Jade from Premier Marketing shared the contract Keisha sent. Essentially identical services at lower prices, erasing me entirely. The most damaging testimony came from Miles Wallace himself. Rochelle had immunity dealt him for cooperation. Ms. Kennedy approached me in February asking about business acquisition strategies, he testified. Specifically, how to take control of a company from someone who trusted you. Keisha's lawyer objected repeatedly, but the damage was done. She asked about legal loopholes, forged signatures, how to win clients over before the original owner noticed. I told her it was illegal. She said, "He checked his notes. My sister is too soft to fight back. Especially once she has the baby. She'll cave." The courtroom murmured. Even the judge looked disturbed. In closing arguments, Rochelle was devastating. "This isn't a contract dispute. This is a betrayal of the highest order. The defendant exploited her sister's pregnancy, a sacred, vulnerable time, to commit fraud. She didn't just steal money. She tried to steal legacy, identity, and future security from a new mother." The jury deliberated for 4 hours. Verdict: $380,000 in damages, restitution of stolen funds, and a permanent injunction preventing Keisha from contacting me or my clients. Keisha sobbed as the verdict was read. But I felt nothing. Just exhaustion. 6 months later, Kennedy Creative Solutions was thriving. The scandal actually helped. Clients respected that I'd stood up for myself, that I'd protected my business even during postpartum recovery. 3 new major clients signed on, attracted by the story of resilience. Keisha filed for bankruptcy. The judgment destroyed her financially. Part of me felt guilty. She was still my sister, still family. But then I'd remember her cold eyes when she said, "You've been checked out." Remember the forged signatures. The lies to clients. The plan to steal everything while I was at my most vulnerable. Damon reminded me constantly, "You didn't do this to her. She did this to herself." Mama and I rebuilt our relationship slowly. She apologized repeatedly for not seeing the signs, for initially doubting me. "I raised her to be ambitious," Mama said one Sunday. "But I also raised her to have integrity. I failed somewhere." "You didn't fail," I assured her. "Keisha made her choices." I never heard from Keisha directly. But through family I learned she moved to Charlotte, working retail. The design career she'd tried to steal was closed to her now. Word spreads fast in Atlanta's creative community. Some nights, nursing Zora at 3 a.m., I'd think about what I lost. Sister. A friendship. The naive trust I'd had in family loyalty. But I'd also think about what I gained. Self-respect. Boundaries. The knowledge that I could fight back even at my most vulnerable. That I could protect what I built, protect my daughter's future. Kennedy Creative Solutions grossed $890,000 that year. More than double previous years. I hired a new business manager, Maria, with strict oversight and regular audits. I kept the company in mine and Damon's names, protecting it legally from future betrayals. At Zora's first birthday party, surrounded by friends and the family members who'd supported me, I felt something unexpected: gratitude. Not for Keisha's betrayal, that still hurt, probably always would. But for the strength I didn't know I had. For learning that being soft, being trusting, being pregnant didn't make me weak. It made me human. And when someone tried to exploit that humanity, I'd proven I could be steel. The business cards I'd ordered that morning sat on my desk. Taylor Kennedy, Sue Kennedy Creative Solutions. Not TK Designs. Not anyone's initials, but my own name, my own identity, my own empire. Keisha tried to take my business while I was on maternity leave. Instead, she taught me that sometimes the most important thing you can do is walk away from people who don't value you, even if they're family. I transferred everything to protect what I built. I quit the relationship, not the business. And I never looked back.